Good knife skills really are the foundation skill that every cook should take the time to master to begin with. It doesn't actually take that long, but it will have a profound effect on everything that you cook. Hi, I'm Murray from the YC Cookery School, where we help to transform your skills in the kitchen and keep your cookery journey moving forward. In this video, I'm going to run you through some basic knife skills. If you take the time to slowly focus on these skills and practice, you'll save yourself hours in the kitchen. The overall standard of your food's going to improve, and most importantly, you're going to cut yourself less. I'll cover purchasing and sharpening knives and knives that we recommend in a separate video, which I'll leave in the end cards, so don't forget to check those out as well. But for now, let's jump into it. So the first thing to look at is faithful onion. Now, an onion has a grain like a piece of wood does, like this. And we always start by cutting in half. Okay. Now, often a recipe will start with dice the onion or slice the onion. Okay. If it says dice the onion, I'm going to just take the end piece off, peel it. And I'm going to start along with the grain. Now, this is the important part. My right hand, assuming that you're right-handed, all it does is pushes down and forward and up and back like this, or in some instances does the chopping. Okay. My left hand, I have my 3 fingers in front. The front knuckle sticks out just to guide the knife. Okay, and my thumb is tucked right back at the back. My little finger's out of the way as well. So it's those 3 fingers and the thumb at the back that hold the food. Now, each time I take a slice, these fingers, particularly this front knuckle, are going to walk their way back a little bit at a time. And the knife always comes back to find this guiding finger. And that's the reason why this knife is so broad. Okay, it's the reason why there's a nice thick blade. It's also why I recommend knives need to be at least 8 to 10 inches. To start with, it's quite daunting. You think, actually, I'll take the smaller knife. I'm a bit scared of the bigger one, but I really urge you to stick with a bigger knife. And it becomes very obvious as soon as you start using the knife properly. So for my onion, I'm going to start like this, cutting down almost to the root, but not quite, leaving it still just slightly attached. The thing to notice is that my finger each time is just coming back. My finger decides how wide the cut is, not my eye. If I try and hold the onion like this, I have to guess where the slice is. Now, 2 things will happen. I'm either going to put the knife through my finger there, or my thumb will have crept around and I'll chop my thumb off like that, or the slices will be very uneven because my eye can't decide where the slice should go faster than my sort of natural reaction. It's the same thing the other way. The right hand is pushing forward and down and up and back. And each time my left hand guiding fingers comes back. Okay, rock that down like that and just finish it off. I'm just left with the root. Okay, now what that means is that these onions should be nice and uniform, which in turn means that they're all going to cook at the same rate and be ready at the same time, which is quite important when you're wetting, sauteing, and etc. Now, if the recipe calls for slicing, we cut a slight angle like this. Now, look at the onion, it's shaped like this, it's curved. Okay, it's not flat, so I don't try and slice through it at 90 degrees. I'm going to start on a slight angle and we're going to cut with the grain. Okay, I'd never cut across the grain unless I was making onion rings. That's literally the only time, and the reason is I want each slice to be nice and uniform. So I'm starting like this. Same thing, I've got my knuckle out in front. Okay, so I can't cut myself. I can't cut myself here, 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 or here. Okay, so it's just that knuckle is rubbing against the blade. I'm going to cut in, try and cut in as close as I can to the center. And as I come up to the middle, I should be aiming to be up at 90 degrees, okay, like that. And then I can roll forward and do the same thing again. The last bit's always a little bit tricky. Your onions should be a nice even size, then they'll all cook together at the same rate. Garlic. In my opinion, there's never a need for a garlic crusher. It's just one of those pieces of kit that wastes money, wastes time. You spend all day picking it out of the garlic crusher and then all night trying to clean it out after it's been in the dishwasher and cooked its way on. All you need to do is take the clove out. You've already got the dirty board, you've already got the dirty knife. This needs a small whack, like that. Comes out easily. Chop it. Same rules apply. That front knuckle is out and the knife is just rubbing up against that knuckle. I'm cooking the garlic. I'm not too bothered about it being too fine. If I'm putting the garlic in raw, I definitely want to make the effort to make sure that it's been crushed, because raw garlic is incredibly strong. Okay, so if I want to crush it, I'm going to use the edge of the board, the edge of the knife. I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to put downward pressure on the back edge of the knife. I'm going to keep the sharp edge of the knife on the board so I don't cut myself, and I'm going to press down and push away from myself. I'm going to start at the front of the pile and work my way back. Now, it wasn't hard, especially if I was doing a lot of it. To be fair, if I was probably doing a lot of it, I'd probably use a blender, but much easier than a garlic crusher, and just one less gadget to have in the cupboard. Same with ginger. Ginger's often, people often peel ginger. I don't usually bother. Along with a lot of vegetables, the best flavour and the nutrients are directly under the skin. So if you can avoid peeling something, it's not always necessary. However, you do need to wash it. You do specifically want to peel it, you can use a spoon, okay? And it's much easier than a veggie peeler to work your way around like this and takes it all off. Or alternatively, is use a grater. This Parmesan grater, you can now, if you give it a good bang, you notice that all of the fresh stuff, the flesh goes on the inside and the skin stays on the outside. Okay, so it's quite straightforward. Using a carrot. Often the recipe will call for bâtons or julienne, the two French terms for vegetable cuts. Julienne is 4 or 5 centimeters long with and as finely as you can cut them. Matchsticks, if you like. Okay, now that's julienne. A good way to do this, which is my preference, is to use a mandolin. Okay, now a mandolin, this is my old trusty mandolin. I've got a dial on the bottom to make it as thin as I like. They're very, very sharp, so you have to be very careful, and it's really not worth buying a cheap one. These are 30 or 35 quid, and I'd really recommend these bamboo Japanese mandolins, or a really good quality stainless steel ones, but don't even bother with the cheap ones. The steel isn't very good, and they're very flimsy, and you probably will cut yourself. Okay, so this is great for ginger or carrots or anything like that. So I've got my nice thin strips from the mandolin. Particularly good for ginger and things like that you actually want to eat whole. Okay, now for me that's a lot finer than the one that I've cut by hand. Okay, so if you're brave enough to get yourself a mandolin and use that, you'll save yourself loads of time. Another useful knife cutters, what we call roll cutting. Okay, we start with carrot like this, chop like this, turn it about 30%, slice again, just work your way up the carrot or the courgette or whatever it is. And what you end up with is a slightly random shape, but they're all the same size, so it's great for roasting veggies and things like that. Quite a quick way to cut carrots up. These will cook at a nice even rate, so quite a good idea. Or then there's the traditional battens. A batten is 5mm square, about the same size as a julienne cut. Okay. Quite nice for dishes when you want the carrots to be presented a little bit smarter. Don't worry about all of this. This can go in the stock. Okay. With cuts like battens, traditionally in a restaurant you might have battens on the menu, but there'd also be a stock pot to use up anything that was left over. And one last thing to talk about is zest. Now you can get yourself a microplane like this, really nice fine thing for taking the zest off a lemon or an orange. Okay, be careful not to get into the pith. The pith is really bitter, and when we want the zest in a recipe, we really just want that nice fine zest on the top. Okay, the other thing you can do is peel it. Okay, like this. And again, I'm really trying to not have too much pith underneath the skin, and then I can julienne it. Okay, so a nice thin julienne. If I'm going to put that into a dish, like I will in the braised rhubarb, quite important to blanch it quickly. Just blanch it into boiling water and refresh it in cold water. And that just takes any bitterness out of it. The bitterness stays behind in the water, and then it won't affect the recipe. So it really is that straightforward. The important thing is to take your time, do it slowly to start with and correctly from the beginning. The speed will come slowly, and within a couple of days you'll be chopping like a pro.